So in this video, we're going to talk about some other ways that we can select elements in our HTML. And I'm going to press this little button up here in Visual Studio Code, which kind of splits our view into two so we can see them side by side. So our CSS is here on the right. I've emptied it out and I've redone our HTML page a bit to make, to get rid of some of the less useful elements in our page. So we have a div with an ID of header. We have a UL, and inside of that we have two LIs. Oh, we have two LIs. Then we have a div with an ID of content, an H1 and H2, a paragraph, and another UL with several LIs in it, like so. And it looks a bit like this. I've removed the image, I've removed the link, stuff like that isn't too important right now. Let's talk about different ways that we can select elements on our page. Now, the first way is just by putting the name of the tag in, like so. So this will select the H1. So I'm going to put a comment in here, every H1. So that will select every H1 on our page. And if I was to do something like UL, this would select every UL. Right? And perhaps let's think about how I'm going to do this. Perhaps inside of this UL, I'm going to create another paragraph. And this isn't incorrect. Generally, we wouldn't put paragraphs inside of a UL tag, but it's not incorrect markup. So, we'll just put something in there. Hugs, it makes no difference. So inside of this UL, we have a paragraph. We have an LI, right? So, if we wanted to only target paragraphs that are inside of the UL, we would space separate them like so. And the space means this is a child. So it means grab every UL on the page, then grab all the paragraph tags that are inside of them. So if I was to add some styling here, if I was to go back, if I was to go color red, this would make this one red, but it wouldn't make this paragraph red because this paragraph is not inside of the UL. Okay, so this one will get every P inside a UL. And we can do this more if we want. We could do like UL, LI, A, and it would get all of the ULs and all of the LIs inside of those and all of the A's inside of those. But that's how we do parent-child relationships in CSS. Now, that's fine. We can get kind of several tags at once by comma separating them. So say I want to get the H1 and I want to get the H2 and I want to make them color green. This will get both of them and make them green, and it will get every H1 and H2. So this is H1 and H2. So this is the same as saying H1 and H2, and then writing the same things inside of them. So it's a little way of saving a few characters in our code. Now, if we wanted to get attributes, so let's actually, I've changed my mind. Let's add a link in. Let's make the href https google.com, and let's make the contents Google. Let's just check that works. Yeah, there's our element there. Now what I could do is say get every element, and so we use square brackets for attributes. Get every element with an href of https google.com, and add some styling in here. Get every element with this attribute pair. Yeah. And another way, so for example, for IDs, we could go everything with an ID of content, or, everything with a class of main. Or for IDs and classes, they're a shorthand. So for ID, we can go ID content or class of main. So these are equivalent. And we can use these class and IDs. Inside of our parent-child ones as well. So now we're essentially, this is it, and we're now going to combine these in different ways. So here we can say, hey, I want you to get the ID of content, and then I only want you to get the UL inside of content, because there's two ULs. There's this one in header, and there's this one in content. And inside of here, I want you to give it a background of light. Oh, I've spelled background wrong. A background color of light green, and refresh. So now it's applied styling to this UL and the elements inside of it. You know, we can see here the paragraph is also background, but I don't want you to get the UL above. So this is a little kind of crash course in different ways that we can use attributes. And again, there are some even more complex ways we can do it. Like we can say, hey, I want you to get everything with an href that begins with this web page URL. So, you know, if it's an internal link, maybe we style it some way. And if it's an external link, we style it a different way, as an idea of how we can further expand this. But these are different ways in which we can use attributes, attribute selectors, class and ID selectors, parent-child selectors. So hopefully you find that interesting. And now we're going to move on.